Down in the Den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy Marz, back like I never left you. And I want to thank all of the Den mates who made last season such a blockbuster success. And we are back with our season debut, season 2. And joining me in the Den is an amazing podcaster, a Twitch star, and she's also known as the pretty voice of wrestling, Sophia Vee. Welcome to the Den. How are you doing today?
Thank you for the intro. I love it. I am good, thank you. How are you?
Fantastically well, and thank you so much for carving out some time to join us here and have a little bit of fun.
Listen,
So
it's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. So the tradition here, I'm a big nerd. I love everything comic book related, and I always say every hero has their origin story. So how did you get in podcasting? What is your origin story?
Okay, so I've been a Twitch streamer, and I was just thinking about that. Why did I get into podcasting? So the truth is, like, I don't know if you're aware of Dr. Yvonne Ridley. She's a journalist, and I'm really inspired by her. She's one of the best female journalists in the world. She got kidnapped by the Taliban. She has this incredible story. And I always wanted to speak to her, right? Always, I'm a huge fan of her work. And I'm like, how the hell can I just speak to her? So I was thinking, if I launch my podcast, maybe I can have her on as a guest. And so I launched my podcast. And in fact, she agreed to come on the show, which was amazing. And it enabled me to meet really cool people. But I think she was honestly, when I thought about that, I think she's the big inspiration just because I wanted to speak to her. And I thought only podcasting would give me the opportunity to speak to her. And I'm so glad she agreed to come on my show. So shout out to Dr. Yvonne Ridley. I love her so much. Incredible journalist.
Shout out to the good doctor. And that's a fantastic way to get into it. It was something that I personally discovered later on, how great it is to have these diverse guests that are really just interesting to you. You want to know more about, and then you find out there's thousands of other people that really love what you're talking about. So that is awesome. And I do love the diversity of the guests. Besides the good doctor, what other guests have you had that have been really inspirational for you?
So I've had Mark Sims on my show. He was the founder of Internet Security, back in the 90s, I guess, So he's a prominent figure in technology today. And he left technology because he had an encounter with extraterrestrials, aliens, whether you believe it or not, that's his story, and now that's his work. He is working to bring disclosure, which we're kind of seeing slowly with the US government and Pentagon releasing that document earlier this year to say that there is something out there, but we don't know what's there. So he's an amazing guest. I had Vice TV star Sean V. Bradley come on my show. He was the biggest ecstasy dealer in America at one point. Taj, who directs J-Lo's music videos, and John Legend and all the big pop stars. So I've had a pretty diverse group of guests come on my show. I had a spirit medium come on my show. He by far might be one of the most interesting people that I had spoken to in my life. The things that he was saying, the things that he says he sees, unbelievable, and whether, again, you believe it or not, that's his story.
Awesome. And I'm a big hippie, so I tend to believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in spirits and things of that nature. So that is right in line. And that is also super intriguing because it's something that's totally probable, but we really don't have any true clarity, and it's something hard to prove. So it's definitely something that I think is worth giving a listen to. Now, you're also a bit of a conspiracy theorist yourself. I know you have some history in that. What is your favorite conspiracy theory, or do you have a
So
top three?
extraterrestrials, that's the one that I really was into, and I spoke about it a lot. And I kind of, dabbled with the ET community and the UFO community. So I know many people are in that community. Yeah, so I believe that there is life outside of this planet. I mean, it would be insane to think that there isn't. So that's the one that I believe in.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's pretty egotistical of humans to be really specks of dust in the cosmos and to assume that we're the only intelligent life. We're not even really the smartest on this planet. So that's something I also believe in big time. Now, you are also known as the pretty voice of wrestling, and I am a huge wrestling fanatic.
Yeah.
I grew up in the rock and wrestling generation. I was really young, so I was but I'm more of an attitude era generation. That's what I really grew up on. How did you get into pro wrestling?
So I love watching pro wrestling. And so I used to watch pro wrestling and like in a group of friends, right? So online we would all have like our back when before Peacock signed the deal with WWE, everyone had the network and everyone was using the network. And so I would hang out online with my friends and we all had the network and we would all watch pay-per-views. And then I was like, I'm a Twitch streamer. I could do this on Twitch. And, so I thought, well, let me start sidecasting wrestling on Twitch. And slowly I started to build a community around that, and like you mentioned, even if you don't watch wrestling now, you have done at one point of your life. So you can go back to that moment when you watch wrestling. A lot of the wrestling that I focus on is in the 90s and early 2000s, and even in the 80s, and not just the WWE, but like ECW, WCW. Like it's not just. I think it's not just the WWE. I do some stuff on AEW as well, but my favorite promotion is the WWE.
Who are some of your favorite pro wrestlers right now?
So right now, currently, I like Bianca. She's amazing.
She is awesome.
She is so good at the WWE. I like Jade Cargill from AEW. I don't think she's a good wrestler, but I think she's sexy.
She has the look for sure. If they don't cast her at Storm, I'm gonna lose my gasket. But yeah,
She's
she may not be
so
the
hot,
best bell to
man.
bell, but she's She has the look. She has a superstar look for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I think she looks good, but she has a lot of improvement when it comes to like pro wrestling. She needs to hook up with Rihanna and do some like collabs with like Fenty and stuff to get her name out there. They do the lingerie. Like I see her slowly posting stuff with Savage. So hopefully she can become the brand ambassador of that company because that would give her leverage. Because she's so hot, man. And at the end of the day, if wrestling isn't for her, she'll always do something because she has this unbelievable look. So men wise, I like Finn Balor. I love Brock. I love Brock Lesnar. I think he's unbelievable. I think he is very intelligent as well. He realized like don't box yourself. Like, he was a professional football player and then he became a wrestler. Then he was like, look, I'm not just a wrestler. I can go and do UFC. And when I did UFC, I won a world title there and came back to pro wrestling. He doesn't just stick to one thing. He understands that he can be whatever he wants to be. And I love that, you know?
If anyone knows how to leverage his star power, is Brock Lesnar, and the ability, as you mentioned, to cross multiple sports and have the highest level of success. He used to play for the Vikings. He did UFC, became a champion. He's been a multiple time WWE champion, and so yeah, he's definitely a huge star. That is awesome. Now you're also on Twitch. Now, are you more with Twitch for just podcasting, or is there a particular video game that you're really into, or a couple of video games that you're really into? Because I'm also a big gamer myself.
So I do play GTA. I'm not very good at it, but I do play it. So on Mondays, where I record my podcast live on Twitch, so I bring the guests on Twitch and record it live, and then we repurpose it for YouTube and iTunes and Spotify and everywhere you can find podcasts. And then I do a lot of wrestling content where I watch a lot of old school wrestling. I was, like watching a lot of like Sub. I don't know if you know who Sabu is, but shout out to
Yeah,
Sabu.
the fantastic, the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu. Absolutely.
Do you know what's crazy? I don't know if you know what Twitter Spaces is, right?
Yeah.
So I was hosting a room last Tuesday, and we were talking about the most extreme wrestlers in wrestling history. And then I was saying Jeff Hardy's pretty extreme, and Mick Foley and Sabu. And then guess what? Sabu pulls up in the room. I swear, everyone was like, whoa, is that the real Sabu? And it turns out it was. And he was just chilling in the room, and he was having audio issues. He couldn't talk, which was driving me crazy because he was like, there's something wrong with my mic. And he was like messaging me saying, I can't speak, but I'm in the room and I'm listening. And I was like, holy shit, like we were just talking about you. And then you entered the room, like, this is it, some next level universe.
That is hella awesome. That is hella awesome. And I love Sabu and classic ECW. He had a little bit of time in WCW and, of course, in WWE, but underrated. And when it comes to
100%.
extreme,
Like, so underrated. He's a
so
great
underrated.
little nephew as well.
Absolutely, that's awesome. That's yeah, he's super dope. He's super dope. Now you mentioned GTA, and I think we've all played GTA. It's been around since 2013, and there's been so many versions and so many updates, and we're still waiting for GTA 6. Hopefully, it'll happen in my lifetime before I turn
Yeah.
20 years old. Are there any other gamers or any other games that you're currently playing or that you really enjoy?
No, honestly, no.
Gotcha. We'll get some offline to you. I have some definite recommendations for you.
All right.
So, are you ready to have some fun? We're not only just a podcast, we're a community, and we want to get you that official DenMate stamps that come with all the benefits of being a DenMate, which means we're constantly going to be promoting your stuff, your products, whatever you have going on. We're there for that. We're going to be spreading it out to the rest of the DenMates and just showing that love because I'm a black hippie, so I love spreading that love, and that's what we're all
I
about
love
here.
that. I love your background. I can't
Thank
quite figure
you.
out what it is, but it
Thank
looks
you.
unreal.
Thank you. It's some trippy stuff, a vision I kind of had one time, maybe with some party favors, and I had a friend design it for me. So we'll be retiring it soon, but it's a tradition. I
Oh
love
wow,
to
so
keep
your
that
friend
going.
actually made that.
Yeah, he made it
The
for me.
artwork.
Yes, yes. Kind of. I told him, I said, man, I had a vision of like eyes and a mouth eating, and he sketched something out, and then we sent it off and got it printed. So it was very cool. Shout out to Nolan Anderson art.
Hey, no, it looks unbelievable. The colors are so vibrant as well.
Thank you, thank you. I always get compliments on that. I always say I used to go by Marlon Beardo, the bearded weirdo, before Marz became my stage name. So it reflects my inner turmoil going on in my
Right.
head. But we always play a game to earn that DenMate pass, and the game that you elected or that we selected for you is called That, This, or Plead the Fifth. So we're going to
Okay.
give you a couple of choices, and we want you to pick which one you prefer. What do you prefer is better? And if
Okay.
it's something that you don't want to say, or you're like, oh, that's too spicy, you just say, I plead the fifth.
Okay.
All right, so it's very simple. So, first question, this is about wrestling, of course. The Rock or Stone Cold?
It depends on what.
Who do you feel is just the better wrestler?
Stone Cold.
Absolutely. Okay, okay. Next one is a conspiracy question. What do you believe is more real, aliens or the Illuminati?
That's so hard.
Plead the fifth. If you can't choose,
no, aliens.
okay, okay. This is a gamer question. I know you're really only GTA, but who's the cooler mascot, Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Okay, all right. And now, Xbox or PlayStation? What do you believe is a better game system?
PlayStation, 100%.
And finally, Halloween or Valentine's Day? What's the best holiday?
Halloween.
Halloween. Oh man, we agree. We are linked. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sophie, this has been a blast getting to know you, getting to learn about how you got into it. Tell you mentioned earlier where it can be found, but tell everyone a little bit more about Vocal Minds with Sophia, where they can find that, and what else you have going on. The floor is yours.
Okay, so basically, you can find my Twitch channel at www.twitch.tv/Sophia. So it's Sophia. Also, you can find my podcast everywhere that you can find podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict. It's called Vocal Minds with Sophia. If a lot of people aren't aware, but if you have Amazon Prime, it gives you a facility like Spotify for free under your Prime subscription called Amazon Music. So you should use it because you're paying for it, which is it is pretty much like Spotify. And you can find my podcast there. I also repurpose my live recordings from my interviews, podcast episodes on YouTube, which is Vocal Minds, www.youtube/Vocal Minds.
Awesome. We'll put all that when this goes in the edit. We'll put it all on the screen. Please check out her podcast. Is absolutely amazing. I've never steered you guys wrong. She has some of the most intriguing and interesting guests from all types of background. It's like if you like Joe Rogan, you'll love this with a much better looking, better interviewer.
Exactly. So, come on now.
That's just how I feel. And I never steer you wrong. So it's awesome. Please check her out on social media. Subscribe. Tell her Marz sent you and that you saw her on Down in the Den. We love showing that den mate love in this community. It's what's made us thrive. And Sophia, it's been a pleasure. You are officially stamped. That means your den mate good. Your pass is good in the community. We're going to put you on a group chat. We have a group chat with other great artists that we share our content with. And we're going to get some merch out to you as well, some Down in the Den merch. And I'll send you a list of some awesome video games that you should check out because I consider myself a bit of a gamer supreme, not to toot my own horn, but to have some good games for you. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Marz, though.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Well, this is your boy Marz, as always. Thank you so much, guys. It's 2022. It's not really 2022. This is a little industry where we're recording, but when this comes out, it'll be 2022. First episode of the new season, and it's been a pleasure. So, Sophie, thank you so much again for joining me in the den, joining the Den Mates. You're the season 2 debut, so thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. We're going to check out everything you have, and you always have our support. And as always, it's your boy Marz, checking out for Sophia Vee. And as always, deuces.
Deuces.
Make sure to tune in to Vocal Minds with Sophia Vee, available everywhere podcasts are heard. And thank you for watching Down in the Den.